Is Prime Day worth the effort? Today, we're going to share anonymized results from our client base for those who did and did not participate in Prime Day. And then we'll discuss the right strategy, including how to make the upcoming October Prime Early Access Day work for you. Welcome to the Day 2 podcast. Today's episode, is Prime Day worth the effort? Sellers know that Prime Day is not very profitable after discounts are taken, so why should brands participate? Today, we're going to share anonymized results from our client base for those who did and did not participate in Prime Day so that you can decide for yourself, and then we'll discuss the right strategy, including how to make the upcoming October Prime Early Access Day work for you. I'm Jason Boyce, founder and CEO of Avenue 7 Media, co-author of the Amazon Jungle and host of the Day 2 podcast. And with me today is my friend Liz LaVallee. Liz grew an enormous digital business over 16 years at Vermont Teddy Bear and PajamaGram, and Avenue 7 is honored to now have her as our director of operations. Liz, welcome to your first but not last guest spot on the Day 2 podcast. How are you doing today?
I am great. I'm so happy to be here. And, things feel a little bit different to me this week now that we've officially flipped the calendar into August.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because it's, back to school or, my kids' fall sports are about to start, but it just feels like fall is upon us and something's a little bit different in the air. And I'm excited about it.
Are the leaves starting to turn in Vermont already?
It's funny you said that because yesterday I was out for a walk with my daughter and we did notice one tree that had some leaves that were looking a little bit like they were starting to change.
Yeah, same here in Portland. We were out in our yard. We've got a couple maples and we could see there's like little sections of the leaves starting to change. And I don't know, Liz, if you're like me, I can't wait for my kids to get back to school because keeping track of all the different camps they're going to right now is a little overwhelming.
It is. Every day, I'm looking forward to a routine. Every day is different right now. And it makes it a little harder on parents.
Awesome. Well, Liz, I'm so happy to have you here. And again, this won't be your last episode of the Day 2 podcast. Our topic today is Prime Day. Prime Day is in July of 2023 is in the rearview mirror. And this topic always comes with a broad range of opinions about Prime Day, whether to do or not do, but it's really binary. Most folks are either they're in or they're out. And personally, I've experienced both of those thoughts and feelings about it. A brand will say, I don't do Prime Day, I can't make any money, or others will say, yeah, I'm doing it. I don't know why, but I like the sales numbers. In your mind, what are your thoughts about Prime Day participation? And what was some of your experience at Vermont Teddy Bear, frankly?
I, too, have had all of those emotions about Prime Day over the years.
We're not alone, sellers.
But I run the spectrum, yep. And I've participated as a seller in all of the Prime Days since the beginning, and with a number of different brands and at varying levels over the years. So I've run the gamut, not participating, to participating lightly, like to going all in. I participated kind of across that full spectrum. And I think at the end of the day, looking back on all of that, my opinion on Prime Day is go big or go home. If you can do it right, it is a huge opportunity. And it's really an opportunity to jump ahead of your rivals in search rank and BSR. Make your product more visible, improve your rank, and really boost your product and come out of that event in a better position than you were when you went in, if you can do it right.
That's such a great point, Liz. And inversely, if you don't participate and your top competitors do, that gap between your rank and theirs is going to get wider. And so then you're going to have to play catch up after the fact. And so what is, in your mind, let's not get into your terrific strategy that we're going to start implementing as soon as October for the new Prime Day yet. We'll save that for later in the episode. But in your mind, what is participating in Prime Day mean?
Yeah, that's a great question. You hear that all the time. Did you participate or not? What do we mean by that? So first, Prime Day is first and foremost a sale event. Our customers are going to Amazon on Prime Day to look for deals, exclusive discounts, limited offers, and that's why the event was created. So running a discount, I would say, is the first key part of participation. Two, I would say a basic definition of participation is increasing your ad bids and budgets so that you can be visible. So discount and visibility, key parts of participation. And, the goal with increasing your bids and budgets is just to make sure that you're staying competitive and that you're visible, you're getting sessions and clicks on those 2 Prime days.
Increased ad spend, participating in deals, whether that's a lightning deal or a Prime exclusive deal or even just a sale price. I get that part. What else is it? What about like external traffic to promote those listings? Would that be when you say all in, would you consider that to be part of an all in strategy and participation?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So there's like basic participation, like bare minimum. And I would say bare minimum is you need a deal and you need to make sure that your ads are displaying that day and you're not running out of budget. That's just the basics. There are so many other tactics that a seller can deploy during Prime Day that will really make the event more successful for them. External traffic, it's definitely one of my favorite, but there's a lot more that you can do during those 2 days.
Awesome. Before we dive into the results that we found, which I frankly found fascinating and in many ways consistent with a lot of the other public announcements in terms of studies and results from other agencies and other brands. But before we dive into those AV7 results for our client base, anonymized, of course, did you notice anything different about how Amazon executed this Prime Day compared to previous years? I mean, you said it yourself. You literally participated in every Prime Day. What was different about this one?
Yeah, one of the biggest things I noticed this year was actually in the lead up to Prime Day versus the actual Prime Day. So in the days leading up to the event, I saw Amazon do something that I thought was just genius that I had never seen them done before. And it was the way that they were teasing the deals and hyping up the deals leading into the actual Prime Day days. So what you could do is if you were searching on Amazon the weekend leading into Prime Day, you would be able to see this notification that would say upcoming deal on this product. And if you clicked on that, you could opt in to receive a notification on your phone when that deal was starting. So my example of this in real life is Saturday before Prime Day. So a full 2 days before Prime Day, I was going to buy my daughter some water shoes because she needed water shoes for a camp that she was going to be in a few weeks. And so I searched kids' water shoes and I'm looking through the results on my phone and I see like the 4th or 5th one has this deal notification that says upcoming deal. And that caught my eye because it was this red badge. And I clicked on it and it said, this product has a deal starting in 42 hours and 27 minutes. Would you like to receive an alert when this deal starts? And it was a countdown timer. Countdown timers are always very effective in creating a sense of urgency and a sense of exclusivity. And so I said, yeah, notify me. And I didn't purchase. And I was ready to go in and just cross this thing off my to-do list to purchase on Saturday, but I didn't. And I thought to myself, wow, Amazon is just pushing demand into Prime Day by doing this. And how many other people's purchases the weekend, the days leading up to Prime Day were actually delayed in favor of the deals. And also, I might not have chosen that one if it did not have that deal badge. The reason why it caught my eye was because it had that notification. So they pushed me into the deal product and then they pushed my purchase into Prime Day.
You know, from a comps perspective, that's very interesting. I didn't know that they did that. I was not shopping for anything unless something I needed immediately ahead of Prime Day because I waited. By the way, I bought 4 Ring cameras on day 2 Prime Day, and they just arrived yesterday.
Wow.
I'm not sure how that's delivering on the Prime Promise Amazon, but luckily I got them before the installers get here next week. But I was pretty amazed by that. I've never really experienced that from Amazon before, where they let me buy something and then it didn't arrive until 2 weeks later.
Yeah, especially you're in a metropolitan area. You're not in like a small town like I am, where it might take a little longer. Yeah,
the only thing I can guess is that they ran out of stock. And they just didn't want to lose the revenue, but the messaging wasn't great. Of course, Liz, what I think about is I thought this sucks. If a seller did this, they'd be suspended. And of course, Amazon, I called customer support and said, WTF? And they said, well, they literally said this. They said, well, the Prime delivery promise begins after the item ships. So once it ships, we guarantee it will be there in 2 days. And I was like, come on, that's not the expected delivery date. If I buy it on a Wednesday or a Tuesday, I expect it by Thursday at the latest. And he just repeated that same script definition, right? The other interesting part about this tactic, I agree with you, Liz. It's completely brilliant of Amazon to do this. It's good for shoppers because they're reminded, hey, by the way, some deals are coming. So I can fully support that. It's good for sellers because of some things that we're going to talk about here in a minute about how the benefits of ranking on Prime Day and how you can use it to gain rank. It also makes their numbers look a lot better compared to last Prime Day. And just as a recap of some of those numbers, they had 75 million more units sold this Prime Day compared to last year's, which resulted in about, I think, roughly 25% increase year over year. Adobe came out and said, oh, it was a 6% increase in sales. I just don't buy that Adobe estimate. There's no way that you can ship 25% more units and not have at least 10, 12, 15% year over year growth on Prime Day. But the reason that the key point is what you're making, Liz, which is this was really good for their comps. And if I was the guy that ran Prime Day last year with those weak results on year over year, I would have done anything I can to be able to go back to my boss and say, this year's Prime Day, we did great. And I think this tactic that you just laid out is one of the ways that they did that.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think that a lot of purchases got delayed. And I think it also explains, we always see a little bit of a lull in sales in the days leading up to Prime Day, right? Because a lot of naturally consumers are holding their demand and they're waiting, just like you see a little bit of a lull for Black Friday and Cyber Monday too. And then the day after Cyber Monday. So there are those ebbs and flows. But this year in particular, I thought that lull was a little bit more pronounced, and I didn't quite understand why until I had that experience. And I was like, yeah, they're definitely teasing people, pushing them into these days to concentrate
another great
the sale.
point. I'm active on Twitter. I guess it's called X now, whatever it's called. That platform. And I'm part of a group, but I follow a bunch of sellers, and almost all of them said the same thing, Liz, what you just described, which was, I'm dying here. It's a weekend before Prime Day, and I've had my worst weekend in a long time. Again, it's really driving that comps number to look good for Prime Day, but I think they took away some sales from that week prior and piled them on to Prime Day. I can't blame them. I think it's a good tactic, and I think it's great for shoppers. So you can never go wrong when you're doing stuff that's good for shoppers. Let's dive into AV7 client results. First and foremost, I have to state the majority of our clients did not participate in Prime Day, which we didn't necessarily agree with, but it's hard to fault our clients when they say, I don't want to lose margin. Mostly they were fearful of losing margin, and our team communicated that think about rank, think about revenue, top line, and think about rank and the halo effect that you can get from it, of course. But a lot of them are like, I don't buy it. So that's when we decided, Liz, right? Okay, we're going to start capturing this data, and we're going to start comparing this to, the July event to the October event. And then next year, we'll compare next year's Prime Day to this Prime Day. What did the numbers, well, before I ask you, what did the numbers tell us? I also want to lay out there, Liz, you've instituted a brand new strategy here at Avenue 7 for our clients, which is fascinating. We did not institute that new strategy to build on that halo effect with this Prime Day, which makes this one a very good baseline for us for future results, right? So I want to lay all that out there. Most of our clients did not participate. We did not execute the new plan, Liz, that frankly you brought to the agency that I'm really excited to hear about here in a minute. And this is a really good, solid baseline. So after all that, Liz, what did you see? What do the numbers tell us from our subset of 120 brands or so?
So it's really interesting because I consider, if you just show up on Amazon on Friday, if you're just a seller, you're just there, you're not participating as we previously defined with the dealer increased ads, you definitely will still see an increase in sales just for being there, just because of the amount of increased shopping that's happening on Amazon over these 2 days, the amount of increased traffic. And I've seen that over and over again. I'll have products that are participating with a deal. I have products that aren't. They all saw a lift within my product catalog or across other brands. So what we saw is within our client base, if you did not participate this year, you still saw an increase in sales. And on average, we saw 100% increase in sales across the clients that did not participate. Yeah. So, that's great. That's like
double sales.
Yeah.
Compared to the average daily sales by just fogging up a mirror and doing nothing.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's your party favor for just coming to the party. Maybe you didn't participate in any activities, but you were there and you get like a certificate of participation for coming.
Right.
And then our brands that did participate with the deal, they saw about on average a 220% increase in sales. Now these increases are over an average day in the pre-Prime Day leading up to it. So double the results for those who did participate.
I mean, I got to tell you, Liz, that 100% growth for Prime Day for a brand that did not participate is really surprising. I don't think I was expecting that big of a number. It's almost like there's an argument there to say, don't do anything, and you'll double your sales on Prime Day.
I know. I was surprised too. I thought that it would be more like a 50% or 60% increase. But yeah, just by being there to take advantage of that increased traffic, you will get something. I think you can do better if you deploy more tactics to really leverage Prime Day in your favor. But you can get some extra sales just by showing up.
What about Prime Day this year to last year comps? What did that look like?
So for year over year, the results are just as interesting. So across our client base, the brands who did not participate had a 2% increase in revenue over last year's Prime Day. So a little bump, you could call that flat, 2% increase over last year. If you did participate with a discount this year, we saw an average of 106% lift over last year.
Wow.
So much bigger difference in the year over year numbers between the brands who did and did not participate. So again, that might be because of the way Amazon was directing more and more traffic towards the deals year over year. That might have been a play in those numbers, but a big difference.
There's just no way that our subset had 100% growth year over year and that the year over year Prime Day results were only 6% according to Adobe. Sorry, Adobe. I think you got this one wrong. One other thing, Liz, I told you about these Twitter posts or X posts, whatever the heck we call them now. And a lot of well-known folks came in after the event and said, I know agencies say that there's this halo effect in rank and that the real reason you should participate in Prime Day is that you gain rank that happens on Prime Day and sticks later. And some folks went out there and said, I just don't see it. What did you find in our numbers in terms of participation and BSR and rank?
Yeah, I understand why people say that because Prime Day is a short, succinct burst in sales. And a lot of times, like such a deep spike and then going back down again is not enough for Amazon's algorithm to really see like a really strong halo effect. But we did take a look at our numbers and we did see a halo effect. There's something there. So we saw that during Prime Week, average BSR for brands who participated, it improved by 15%. So during Prime Week, you had a 15%.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. And then the next week, 1 week after Prime Day, is there a halo effect? Yes, there was. Your BSR was still 10% better than it was before Prime Day 1 week later.
Wow.
So it went down a little bit, but it didn't go all the way back down to where it was. It was still 10% better. And then I think the real question is, okay, what do the next few weeks look like? So now we are more than 2.5 weeks post Prime Day. So we could see what was the average 2 weeks out. And 2 weeks out, it was still 5% better. So again, it went down another little bit, but you're still 2 weeks after Prime Day, you're still at a higher or a lower BSR, which is better BSR than you were pre-Prime Day.
So doing simple math, if I was ranked 100 for my good selling product ahead of Prime Day, if I participated just for those 2 days, and remember, folks, we're not talking about Liz's strategy, which she's going to introduce here in a minute. We're talking about just doing a discount on the 2 days of Prime. Then you went from 100 to 85 in bestseller rank during Prime Day. That dropped down to 90. That's still 10 points higher. And 2 weeks later, we're at 95. So that's significant. And the bigger and the lower your rank, Liz, like if you're 300, I mean, 15% is a much larger jump. So look, I think that's statistically relevant proof so far, knock on wood, that what you talked about at the beginning of this episode works. You can jump rank and maintain it even 2 weeks after the Prime Day event.
Yes, absolutely. And if you think about it another way, like if you're a seller and your rank is 100 and your BSR is 100 and somebody said to you, how much would you be willing to invest in advertising or discounting or other types of investments to go from 100 to 95? think about that. And what's your answer to that question? You would make an investment to get there, because if you can move up 5 points in your BSR, you are going to be at a higher level and you're going to get more exposure and you're going to get more sales. And so that's really what these sale event strategies, hopefully if you leverage them correctly, that's what they're designed to do for you.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Now the big reveal, Liz. Let's dive right into, and again, reminder, those are numbers for folks who just did a discount for the 2-day Prime event. That's it. A little bump from that on rank, and it's really solid. So, Liz, in your mind, what is the best way for Amazon brands and sellers to really leverage this Prime Day, and how should they start thinking about this and preparing for the Prime early event this coming October?
Yes. So the way that you can make your rank improvements stickier, last longer post Prime Day, and the way to get a more sustained halo effect or even bigger halo effect than those numbers that we just shared, the strategy that I've tested over the years is to craft your Prime Day campaign so it's not just a 2-day sales event. You take Prime Day and you turn it into a 2-week or maybe even a little bit longer, but at least a 2-week sale event for your brand. Because again, when Amazon's algorithm sees a really steep increase in sales and then it goes right back down again, it notices that. We're seeing that with our BSR numbers, that there is a halo effect from that. It's not that you don't get anything from that. But what you really want to do is show a more sustained, prolonged, steady increase in sales, and you'll get a much stronger halo effect and stickiness post that kind of a campaign than you will just a real short spike.
Amazing. Take a 2-day event, turn it into a 2-week event. So break it down. How do you do that?
Think of it as like a Prime Day sandwich. And I'm going to call this our Prime Day triple decker sandwich.
Ooh, my favorite kind of sandwich. Okay.
Yep. So Prime Day is the center of your campaign. Okay. So Prime Day is like your middle layer of your sandwich. Then there's a foundational layer though. And that's really your Prime Day lead up. And that's what you do for the 1 week leading into Prime Day. And then there's the top layer. That's your post Prime Day period and what you do for the week afterwards. So we've already kind of established what to do during Prime Day. You're going to do a discount, you're going to do increased ads budget, and there's different types of discounts. We can talk more about those, but let's back up now into the Prime Day lead up 1 week before.
Yeah.
You start with a smaller discount. Now you can do a larger one, but I usually started with a smaller one just to protect margins. And you have to be really, really careful with offering a discount leading into Prime Day, because you need to make sure that it's a discount that's not going to deactivate your Prime Day offer. Yes.
Got it.
And our team can help a little bit with that. It's a lot to kind of get into now, but because there's so many different discount types and we can kind of, there's ways to choose the right one for you, both for Prime Day, depending on your goals, and for your lead up. But I do want to mention that one mistake that's really easy to make is to run an offer leading up to Prime Day and then accidentally invalidate your actual Prime Day offer. You definitely do not want to do that. So let's say you're doing like a lightning deal during Prime Day. You might do a coupon like leading into it.
Okay.
So that's your foundational layer. Then you have Prime Day, and you have a great 2 days. Post Prime Day, you turn on another discount. And again, it doesn't have to be as big as your actual Prime Day discount, but you do need to keep something going, to keep that momentum going, to keep your conversion rate up and kind of overcome that natural lull that happens.
So if you did 20 to 30% discount on Prime Day, do you cut that in half for the post sale?
Exactly. Yep. 10, 15. Yep.
Awesome.
You can do it. Just to protect your margins. It's still 2 weeks of discounting, but again, that discounting is an investment in your future full price sales. So that's kind of the basic version of that triple decker sandwich.
Yeah.
But there is a deluxe version.
Okay. All right. What's the deluxe?
Yeah. So earlier, Jason, you mentioned external traffic. I said that's one of my favorite strategies. So external traffic really like turbocharges this strategy. So think about, the week leading up to Prime Day. If you have an audience of fans, followers, social fans, influencers, your email list, maybe, if you have an audience that you can market to and drive that external traffic to Amazon, it is so, so effective in kind of getting that flywheel spinning in advance of Prime Day and getting your products ranking up. And you're running a discount leading into Prime Day so you can let your audience and your fans, your email list, know that there's an early access coupon running for your products. You don't have to wait for Prime Day because you're a fan, you're a follower, you're an email subscriber, and you can send them to Amazon leading into Prime Day. That primes the pump for Prime Day. It gets the flywheel spinning faster on your product. Amazon really loves seeing external traffic. They reward it. They also reward you for sales that you drive from that external traffic. If you use an attribution link, you'll get the brand referral bonus. And so you actually Amazon will give you up to 10% back for any sales driven from that. So it helps offset your discounting as well. Pretty much, it subsidizes the discounting that you're doing there.
Absolutely.
You kind of got that going leading into Prime Day. And then you have your 2 days of Prime Day. You're going to rock that. You've got your discount. You've got your increased ads. You've got your budget. Make sure you're not running out of budget during the day. You can also promote Prime Day during those 2 days to your external traffic lists as well. And then post Prime Day, you have a discount that's still running, another discount that flips back on after everyone else's discounts are getting turned off. And you can again message your external lists and tell them, hey, don't worry, we got you. If you missed Prime Day, we still have an offer for you. It's not too late. And that will just keep that flywheel. You're just basically building momentum throughout this 2-week campaign and really just being able to ride the wave afterwards after you go back up to full price. You stayed on discount a little bit longer than everybody else.
Liz, this is the most comprehensive strategy surrounding this big event that I've ever heard. I'm thrilled to, share it with our clients and get them prepared for the October event, which I think is going to be significantly bigger than last year. There's just less money in the bank account for consumers this year than there was last year because of inflation. And what a great opportunity to take the inherent BSR increase that happens when you participate just on Prime Day and really multiply that. I'm thinking here, Liz, I can only imagine when you brought this strategy to your previous employer who cared very much about that customer list and driving as much sales to their own website as possible and to their call center as possible. How hard was that discussion? Because I'm reminded over and over again of brands thinking, I'm not going to do anything. If I have a source of traffic, I'm only driving it to my website. I'm not driving it to Amazon. How hard was that discussion? And what do you say to our listeners and viewers who have the same thoughts?
Yeah, it can be a really, really hard sell. And I've heard it from a lot of brands that, they want to protect their house file and their own customers, and they only want to send them to their website. And I absolutely get that, because you don't want to lose your customer to a competitor, and you see Amazon as a competitor. What I would remember with this strategy is, one, you don't have to constantly message your own list about Amazon all throughout the year. There are strategic times of year and strategic times where it makes a lot of sense to do that. And I would say Prime Day is one of them. Everyone is shopping on Amazon during Prime Day, and it's just a way to really get in the game. Your audience is going to be going there anyways. It's not a secret. You can't hide Prime Day from people anymore, right? It's like You're fighting a losing battle if you're trying to keep it a secret those days. Everybody's going there. Yeah. So would you rather have your products be purchased on Amazon during Prime Day, or would you rather lose those sales to a competitor, right? I'd rather keep them within my brand, whether it's on my own website or Amazon. At least they're buying from my brand. And it's not, you run the risk of, using my water shoes example for my daughter, you run the risk of having them choose the one that has that deal badge that's not yours. And I think the other thing is not to think about just the sales that you're getting immediately from these clicks. That's one thing that you're getting. One thing you're getting is you're sending out an email and they're clicking over and they're buying on Amazon. But what you're getting is actually so much more on that, because those sales on Amazon will then move your product up in ranking, move your product up in BSR. And what would you do to move from page 3, from the top of page 3 to the bottom of page 2?
Yeah.
Is it worth it to have 25 email sales, that go over there and do that? So again, it's an investment in the future. It's an investment in getting more exposure on Amazon so that you can be more discoverable from in the future from people who have never heard of your brand. And then all of a sudden you have They might come to your website to purchase from you the second time. So you become more discoverable on Amazon, which can be a prospect tool in and of itself.
Well, Liz, I can only imagine how good of a negotiator you are to be able to convince a big DTC brand to do this strategy, but they saw the results and you repeated it. This is, the most comprehensive strategy I've seen. What about margin? It's another one of those pushbacks from brands, right? I don't want to take my margin percentage from what it is now to cutting it in half or to zero for this Prime Day event. I'm about making money, Liz. What do you say to those guys and those gals who are running seller businesses? Because it's legitimate. It's a legitimate concern, right?
Yeah. So if you're doing this strategy correctly, what you're really doing is that discounting is going to pay off for you in the long run, because when you're done with that discounting, you're done with your 2-week Prime Day campaign, you're able to go up to full price, but you're significantly better ranked than you were before. So you've jumped ahead of your rivals, you've moved up in BSR, and now you're at full margin, but you have more sales momentum. You're getting more daily sales than you were before. And that's especially effective when we're thinking about these fall events, like the fall Prime Day event, or even Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Because if you would do this strategy leading into those events, then you're putting yourself in a really, really nice position to capitalize on Q4 sales. It's kind of like launching your product into the holiday shopping season.
Right.
And just doing a little bit of discounting, just doing a couple weeks of discounting to get yourself up there. And then you ride the wave of that at full margin. You might go back down a little bit, like you just like we saw with our BSR numbers, like they improved and then they went down a little bit. So, but you're kind of like throwing yourself up at the top, and then you might back down a little bit, but you're still significantly higher than you were if you hadn't done this at all.
Yeah, Liz, I couldn't agree more. That future revenue and profit dollar growth is so worth the investment. And I mean, back to your point about you can't ignore Prime Day. I mean, every e-commerce retailer known to man has an event. Wayfair's got an event, Walmart's got an event. Amazon, because of their size and strength, they made it's basically a national shopping holiday week now.
Yeah.
And what a great way to leverage it, defend your brand, and then catapult your brand for future, not only revenue, but to your point, margin. So Liz, just recapping here in the final analysis, great job on your inaugural Day 2 podcast. This will be the first of many. You bring so much talent and experience and smarts to this team, but also to our client base. And now I'm honored to have you on the Day 2 podcast to share it with the greater community as well. At the end of the day, should you Prime Day or should you not? I think Liz made a series of very compelling arguments here that says you've got to do it. The best way to do it is the way that she laid it out. Forget about 2 days Prime Day, make it a 2-week event and really capitalize and focus on that BSR rank for your brand. Liz, anything else to add as I take us out here? I loved your comments. I love the strategy that we're implementing here. Avenue 7 clients, for those of you who are listening, if you say no to this plan, expect a call from Jason.
I love it. I would just say a reminder, like things feel a little bit different now. We flipped the calendar into August. That's what I was saying at the beginning. I think part of it is because I have like this sense in my bones that like Q4 is coming, and I think some people are like, it feels like it might rain.
Right.
I think I've been working in e-commerce for too long. I'm like, it feels like Q4 is coming. And so I would just remind people, like, start planning now, your inventory planning, please, because don't wait too long. Those fulfillment centers are going to be a zoo. If you're going to be participating in the Fall Prime Day, and I hope you are, choose your assortment. It doesn't have to be your whole catalog. In fact, I recommend it's not. Strategically choose what's going to be in your deal assortment for this Q4 for both Fall and Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and start planning your inventory. Don't wait. I know it's still summer, but you're going to thank yourself later.
Wise, somebody whose total business really depended on Q4. Folks, listen to Liz. Thank you, Liz. Thanks for being here. I'm looking forward already to our next podcast together, of which there'll be many. Folks, if you're ready to start growing and protecting your brand on Amazon with a team of experienced Amazon operators, you can visit us at day2podcast.com. That's day2podcast.com. And lastly, if you know of anyone else who would benefit from this podcast, and I know you do, please share it with them. Thanks for listening and happy selling.